Good morning, Regents.
I'm Mr. Jones,
And I'm Mr. McGrath,
and welcome to the Regent Spotlight.
where no matter where we are,
We are all Regents.
all right, welcome to the show today, Miss Tisher. Miss Tisher, is she still with us?
Oh, I'm here. I'm
Oh,
here.
okay. You weren't showing up on my screen. Cool. Little known fact, Miss Tisher and I actually went to the same high school. We're both from Wisconsin Rapids, both graduates of Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln High School, both proud Raiders. And you graduated with my younger sister. That's a fact. Now,
That's
did you have my dad as a teacher?
I did not ever get to have your dad as a teacher, which was one of the very sad parts of my high school experience, unfortunately. But I did get to know him a little bit when I was hanging out at your house.
Oh yeah, that's true. I suppose you did. I won't ask you for any stories about my sister, not while we're on the air anyway.
Good plan.
It says here after high school, you went to UW-Madison, go Badgers, and then Middlebury College. That's in Vermont, right? For your master's?
That's correct. Yeah, it's a little liberal arts school in Vermont near the Green Mountains.
Wonderful. And then it says here that before you came to West, you taught at Lyons Township in LaGrange, Illinois, and then Oregon at the high school, I'm assuming?
Yes, at the high school, and then I actually helped get the elementary Spanish program started and taught 5th and 6th grade for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
I prefer high school.
And then you were back to the high school at West, and this is your 7th year at West. And that's all in Spanish and primarily AP. And I think you had Spanish 1 a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yep. And then Spanish language arts.
You have the SLA class now. And how many sections of Spanish language arts do we have?
We have 4 sections at West, and I teach 2 of the 4, and Profe Henneke teaches the other 2.
All right.
All right. It says here you always wanted to teach in Madison, and you actually came to West because Mr. McGrath's younger sister, your friend, actually told you about the position that opened up here, right?
Correct. Yeah, I was teaching in Oregon at the time and was finishing my master's, and I was actually in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and got a message via Facebook from Mr. McGrath's younger sister saying, they're looking for a Spanish teacher last minute at West. Are you interested? And I thought, yes, here's my chance. So I interviewed, and luckily everyone felt that I was the right candidate for the job. And I've been super happy at West ever since.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing how that all fell into place. We were lucky to grab you and lucky to hold on to you.
Yeah.
Glad that you're at West. You know, one fun fact that I didn't know about you is you're quite a water skier, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the day, you skied a lot. Were you with the aqua skiers? That's the ski team in Wisconsin Rapids. Were you with them?
So I never skied on the aqua skiers. My parents were members of the ski team back in the day, and that's how they met, and were very involved with the club before my brother and I were born. But we decided to just stick to recreational skiing. So all of the skiing that I ever did was impersonating what the water ski teams did, but I never participated myself.
All right, all on the river in Wisconsin Rapids.
Correct.
All right.
So we're asking everyone, well, how are you doing? Like, where are you, and how are things going since March 13th?
Well, I have been in my house. My husband is doing all the grocery shopping. Being pregnant, we're trying to keep me away from as many germs as possible. So yeah, other than going out for walks around the neighborhood and a park every now and then while keeping our distance from other people. It's been home and outside. That's about it.
All right.
Yeah, that's not a lot of choices there. Are there other things that you're doing to just feel a sense of safety and security during this time?
Yeah, I think checking in with family and friends. We got lots of practice using Zoom before school started, just for social contact. And then with my husband and daughter, spending lots of time out in the yard, doing yard work and that kind of thing. So um, it's been nice to feel. I feel very fortunate that we have a very comfortable home to spend this much time in.
Yeah.
So, so how are you staying active, like around the house so you don't get stir crazy?
Yeah, doing lots of raking outside. And each morning, especially during the week, I try and get out for a walk. Normally, I walk to West or ride my bike. So I kind of keep that routine in the mornings. I get up right away and go for a walk, listen to a podcast while I walk. And if it's not great weather out for that, I'll sometimes pull up a video on YouTube to do a little bit of yoga or Pilates or something like that. So
All right.
yeah.
So you can't be productive the whole time. It can't be yoga, Pilates, and gardening the whole time. There's got to be some downtime. Are you reading anything, or binge watching anything on Netflix? There any guilty pleasures?
Oh, definitely. I've got one guilty pleasure and then one teacher recommendation that I'll share.
All right.
First, guilty pleasure, Schitt's Creek. Love that show. And Tiger King, along with the rest of the entire world. I've been fascinated by the characters that are real in that show.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, believe it or not, right? And the one not so guilty pleasure that was recommended to me at the beginning of the year by Mrs. Gavelber, the book, The Warmth of Other Suns. I just finished it. It's a long book, but super awesome about the Great Migration of African Americans from the South up to the northern cities from about 1920 to about 1970. So great book if you're interested in history. Students highly recommend it, and thanks to Ms. Gavelber for recommending it to me.
That's awesome. So one thing we're also asking is like your favorite memories of West. So, in your 7 years, what are the things you kind of remember when you think of West?
Oh, that's a hard question. I think honestly, this is going to sound kind of creepy because it sounds like I'm like hovering and listening in, but I just miss seeing students in the hallways, interacting with one another between classes while I'm out in the hall, saying hello to kids, watching kids interact during class, and for selfish reasons, getting to interact with them in person myself. So I think just like the daily, what seemed very inconsequential interactions at the time now feel like kind of a big deal and something that's really, really cool, and one of my favorite things about being at West.
Yeah, same here.
It's a great way to put it. It's not that we're eavesdropping in the hall. It's just that some things are really difficult not to hear.
Right. You adolescents, you don't know how loud your voices are sometimes.
That's right. Well, what do you miss most about being at West?
I think along the same lines, just getting to have those like informal conversations with students and staff members. So I'd say probably just simply the social aspect.
Yeah.
Is there any like particular event or activity like in the spring that we do that you're kind of like, man, I wish we still had schools, like at least in the building, so we could have done it?
Yeah, definitely. Though I'm not a member of Diversity Alliance this year, that's something that Mr. Nepper and I were able to sponsor the last few years, and All Nations Day is one thing that I've always looked forward to, and am really bummed that we won't get to see the awesome show of talent and display of cultural heritage that we usually do every year.
Great day, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. It's 2 hours in the odd, back to back, every spring. What are you looking forward to the most when we can regroup and be all together again?
I think being in the fact that I teach so many seniors in AP, really I always enjoy like the closure of the school year, the excitement of what's to come for the summer and the following fall, kind of watching students commemorate their 4 years at West together. And this is sort of more long-term, but I love being able to teach freshmen as well, and then getting to see them 4 years later in the AP class. So having that continuity, getting to know students as freshmen, and then getting to know them as somewhat different people, usually by the time they're seniors. Can't wait for that to happen again.
Seeing how they grew up, and then still seeing some flashes of that freshman
Energy,
coming through, shining through, right?
definitely.
So we ask our guests, what's one thing or what's something you want to tell the West students and community, since the spotlight's on you right now?
Oof, I feel like that's a lot of pressure, and I'm not very good at giving advice, I don't feel, but I'd say main thing, keep your distance physically for the betterment of society as we get closer to maybe a resolution to all of this. I think we're going to get a little bit more lax, so I say just keep remembering why we're all doing this, follow through, and at the same time stay connected to people the best you can via virtual ways. And to all my lovely bilingual students out there, whether you're my student or not, keep practicing all of the languages that you know in one way or another.
All right, Ms. Tischer, well, thanks for coming and joining us on the Regent Spotlight and dropping in today so that you could connect with your regents and staff members out there. We appreciate it. This week we have featured several staff members in the Regent Spotlight, and students in the near future we'd like to feature some of you. We'll be reaching out and hopefully hear from you soon. But that's it for now. May the Regent Spotlight shine brightly on you today.